coach that's not very happy?
No, we had a game that was in our grasp and we let it slip. It's a game we lost, and Brisbane really lifted in the second half. We couldn't match their intensity and we let the game slip away.
What you put it down to? Obviously, the team that hadn't won a game this year, extra disappointment with the fact you couldn't put them away when you had a chance.
I don't know. Any time you come up to the Gabba and play in these conditions, these sort of contested wet conditions, you take the win and run. If you can get it. So it's not as if we're coming up here playing a side that are sitting on the bottom of the ladder and we expected we just walk over them. We had the game in our control at half time and we couldn't finish the job. So it's nothing to do with them being poor opposition. They're good opposition on their day. I've said pre-game that any side with Brown, Black, Power, Rich, those players, they're capable of getting the job done. And in the second half they did. We couldn't match it.
Scott McMahon, the turning point that did it.
No, well, Luke Delaney did a terrific job on Jonathan Brown. He's the best key forward in the competition when he's going, and Luke, did a terrific job. Kicked 4 goals, kicked 2 from 50-metre penalties. Watch footy over the weekend, and umpires seem to be paying quite a few 50-metre penalties for encroaching on the mark. So, we're aware of that, because we certainly don't get a notice that they're going to do that, but we watch other games and see that they were doing that. Scotty Thompson encroached on the mark. Scotty McMahon didn't give the ball back. They're 50-metre penalties, so it's just undisciplined in the end.
Brad, I've got to say, you look beyond disappointed at the moment. You look angry. Is that a fair comment on where you're at the moment?
No, well, it's a game that we had well and truly in our grasp. We didn't take our opportunities from the amount of ball we had in the first half, and just dominating in the clearance area, dominating in the contested possession area. And in conditions like those, if you can really dominate in those stats, the game should be being played on your terms. And it probably was in the first half. We just didn't convert our opportunities well enough. So Brisbane was still in the game, and they lifted, and we just stopped to a walk in the last quarter. So that's why I'm so disappointed, because it's a game that we really, on a lot of measures, we should have won. And that's probably a sign of where we're at as a team at the moment, that we just can't put those sides away when we should.
Just back to Luke Delaney, when did you decide to put him on Brownie tonight?
Oh, as soon as Nathan Grime broke his finger during the week. The only thing we had to confirm was Ed Lower was not recovering as well as we would have liked from his knee, so it was whether he was going to be out for the 8 weeks to put him on the long-term injury list, because it was not a matter of picking Luke, it was just a matter of being able to elevate him off the rookie list. But he's been probably our form one-on-one defender this year at both levels, so he was a logical matchup, and I thought he performed really well.
Boomer was on and off the ground at various times, still played pretty well, but
yeah.
Was there any injury concern?
Oh, it's just one of those nights for Boomer. He got kicked in the calf, he got poked in the eye, he's coming off all the time with ailments he couldn't see for a while, so we couldn't put him back on. But he's just a champion of the game. So that's, even when all those things happen, he still performs pretty well.
What's the difference with your final one? They'll have to take the next step. Have a good win last week, coming up with albeit coming to the Gabba on a difficult night. But these are the wins you need to get to sort of obviously progress yourself as a team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We just really need to improve across the board, and I thought last week was a step towards that. But we're one of the hallmarks of young, inexperienced sides is inconsistency. So that's something we just got to keep working on, and doing a lot of things right. But you can't keep talking about the things you're doing well when you're not getting the results. So we've got to pick up on the areas we're doing really poorly.
Quite a big way for the season, Brad. How difficult is that loss tonight in the context of where you want to be at this time?
Well, I suppose I don't look at it like that. I don't sit there and analyse too far ahead. I analyse what we're doing well and what we're doing poorly, and I thought last week we improved in a lot of areas and we got the result. So until we start fixing some of those areas, you know, scraping out wins is not going to help us in the long term. So it's more about you know, the improvement in the team, and then we'll get the results. And we've, you know, but it was a disappointing loss. I mean, it would have been you know, regardless of where Brisbane are on the ladder, it would have been a good win to come up here and get the points. And we got off to a good enough start to do that, and just a really poor finish.
Brad, you said they slowed just about a walk in the fourth quarter. Is that attitude or just concentration?
No, as I said at the start, I think Brisbane's intensity lifted. You know, they chased us down from behind a couple of times, and you know, players like Bamfield, and they started to look lively. They started to look dangerous, and we just couldn't lift to that intensity. So it happens so often in footy when you get enough of the ball and you don't convert the opportunities, and you don't put that scoreboard pressure on. The opposition still have real hope. And I thought, you know, we kept Brisbane in the game all night. You know, we had opportunities to sort of really hurt them and open up a big gap, but we could never quite put them away. And I thought that really kept them, you know, kept them believing that they could, you know, snatch a win. And in the end, they didn't snatch a win. They deserved their win. You know, they overran us.
Any consolation that your old club broke their drought tonight?
Oh, it's a serious question. I'm the coach of North Melbourne. You know, I played for Brisbane. That's extraordinary. Like, people don't understand this. Like, because you play for another club is irrelevant. I mean, you invest every minute of every day in what you're doing. So, you know, we came here to win. We didn't get that. I'm as bitterly disappointed as I've been this year.
Brad, I don't know, I'm sure you wouldn't want to single him out. He's already had that once this year, but how do you get more out of Lockie Hansen?
Oh, it wasn't a day for key forwards, you know, and Brown had an influence on the game because he's a superstar. But it wasn't a terrific night for Lockie. You know, he's got to get stronger. He's got to key forwards take a bit longer to mature, and you know the night didn't suit him. That being said, you know, he's got to lift his performances to a point where even if things aren't going his way, he can still, you know, put in an acceptable performance by doing other things, defensive things that can help us. So, you know, offensively he wasn't great, but you know, he's still a really important part of our side and an important part of our future.